This day has come after much hard work and effort.
So, what happens when a client loses faith? Welcome to part 2. I'm restarting work on the installation shared with you in the previous video. If you have missed watching part 1 of a link for the same will be there in the description box. The piece has been painted. I still have to finish the last element that belongs to the installation. This circular wooden bit that is meant to house a heavy handcrafted brass knocker. I began with sanding the wood down to the grain so that it would accept the paint. And because I wanted to maintain a contrast with a heavily patterned background, I'm keeping the platter mostly solid. And now we are fitting the brass knocker in place. As shared with you, the piece has been painted, but now I'm getting down to finally polishing and finishing the individual elements. I will begin with finishing the central portrait elements. These have been hand painted onto paper, decoupaged onto wood in the past, and now I'm just going over the entire piece and finishing any areas that I might have neglected. In this part 2 of the video, I wanted to share the important learnings that have emerged from this entire struggle. If I am to encapsulate the lessons in points, I will have to begin with number 1, communicate, communicate, communicate. I always thought to myself that my process was exhaustive. I take quite a bit of time in understanding what the client really wants and do my best to explain what my process is prior to accepting the commission. But as it turned out, this time I did fall short. It is critical that you agree with all the deliverables in advance. Identify one way using which you can express the artwork best, whether it is a digital mock-up, a sketch, a mood board, or a collage of images. Most importantly, you explain the difference between the digital product and the physical product as it will evolve clearly at the outset. In retrospect, I could have done a better job at this explanation before we began, because I had to stop work midway and re-communicate to the client. It really hampered the flow and the enjoyment of making this piece. So the touch-up process complete, we have to now start sealing the artwork, and that will begin by brushing on diluted PVC glue onto the individual artwork pieces. So here I have diluted normal Fevicol in a ratio of 1:3. So 1 part Fevicol and 3 parts of water. This step is really important because most sealants, whether water-based or oil-based, tend to soak into the grain of the wood or the paper. The layer of PVC glue ensures it creates a sandwich between the artwork and the sealant, ensuring that the piece does not oxidize or yellow with time, or worse still, the paper elements are not damaged by the sealant. Coming back to what I learned with this project, let's come to point number 2. Begin with a clear understanding of the payment process. Ensure you agree upon the remuneration. You start work only against an advance and organize the rest of the payment as per a previously agreed schedule. I never start work without an advance, and I never dispatch a product without receiving full payment first. As an artist, you need to protect your financial interests. Finally, all the individual elements of the installation have been coated with 3 layers of diluted PVC glue. You have to allow adequate drying time between each layer. Once that is done, the pieces are ready to be varnished.
With a view to finishing this order, I need to stock up on some art supplies. So I'm now headed to the market with my shopping list. Come along with me as I take you to a local hardware store and share a source of art supplies for my sake. It's exceptionally polluted here in Mumbai. I don't remember a winter so murky. People are falling sick. My throat is still hoarse. In fact, my voice has taken on this permanently hoarse tenor, which I'm sure you guys will have to bear with in the future videos unless I stop doing voiceovers completely. सबसे छोटा वाला डब्बा टच वुड का होता है वो चाहिए और एक पतला ब्रश दे दीजिए। सो ये कौन कौन से सर्फेसेस के लिए ठीक रहता है हमारे? टाइल्स पे भी चलता है। ये मतलब थोड़ा सा ब्रश साफ करने के लिए चाहिए, टर्पेंटाइन, राइट? और मुझे एक आप दे दीजिए रोलर, पतला रोलर, इसको अप्लाई करने के लिए। So for the larger pieces that I do, I typically get paints mixed and I buy them in a small retail package. Samchin Paints has this 1000 color catalog which is exhaustive and this is typically what I use to identify the colors I need. So I'm going to be getting a couple of 100 ml boxes and I will share with you the process. एक ये X177 दे दीजिए और एक कोड रेड आता है ना, कोड रेड एक दे दीजिए। हाँ, कोड रेड दे ये ब्लू क्विल्ट।
A disclaimer, this video has not been sponsored by anybody. This is the shop that I have been buying paint hardware for almost 10 years now. I'm sure you will get similar or equivalent products in any paint brand.
So that's the exact shade of red that I will get.
Since falling sick, I have refrained from really stepping out of the house too much. But now that I'm out, and even though the air is far from fresh, I feel like a stroll around the neighborhood. I've been walking these streets for almost a decade now. This store that I just visited has been my go-to for many years. And it's amazing how much this area has changed. I spot this gentleman by the road, deftly weaving beads into Mangal Sutras for waiting clients. He is Pappu Patwa, interestingly from my own hometown, Varanasi. I take a few minutes to ask him a few questions about his trade, how he does what he does. It's December and the sugarcane vendor is doing brisk business. And because it is December, in true Mumbaikar style, the Naril Paniwala is wearing his monkey cap to ward off the completely non-existent Mumbai winter. Before I head back home, I need to finish the second chore on the list for the day. I have come to my local courier counter to book a few parcels. Once that is done, I'll head back home and start the varnishing. In the past, you guys have seen me use spray-on varnish. I definitely prefer the ease of application when it comes to the spray. They are quick to dry and non-yellowing, which is not the case with this product, which is a polyurethane-based application. This is more cumbersome to apply. It takes a long time to dry, as well as the entire process is very messy. However, for certain projects, I have no choice but to stick to this. And if cost is a contention, this is definitely a cheap alternative to the spray. To apply the product, go over small sections one at a time. Apply some liquid with a brush and roll it down, working out all the bubbles with the roller. Soaking the brush and the roller in turpentine and wiping out every trace of the product is the best way to ensure upkeep of the brushes and the roller between applications. Coming back to what we were talking about, my work has taught me the value of patience. Over the years, I have understood that if some amount of tweaking and adjustment is required, and the artist in you does not care about the compromise, because the designer in you sees the point of the adjustment, it's worthwhile giving it a shot. And yet, it is a fine balance not to lose your voice as a creator. If the client's desires and wants are important, it is also always going to be your own handiwork. So one has to make sure to make something that one can stand by always. And like a dear viewer commented in part 1 of this video, choose your client with care. It's important to do so that the commission is peaceful and fruitful for both you and the client. I have somehow always been lucky with the people I have worked for. Even in the instance of this project, the architect was known to me. And I totally agree with Anupma, it does make all the difference. As evening falls outside, I am ready to call it a day. Pleased as punch for all the work that has been squeezed in. I had put the pieces away at night. By morning, the varnish was cured and hardened properly with this beautiful mirror-like glaze, precisely what I was going for this piece.
A very good afternoon to all you guys. I really did not imagine that there'd be a day I'd be sitting here and speaking to you like this. But yes, today is that day when we finally package and dispatch this product that has been a work in progress for months, as you know. Alongside doing that, in this very order, there are a few fine art prints that need to be dispatched, and on the request of the client, I'm going to be styling them and shooting them for her catalog. I really cannot wait. As you know, this day has come after much hard work and effort.
So this is a bit of a rush job. I have set up the shoot using the panels that we have just painted right before they can be packed. But in the given time, this is all I can muster. And outside Swaminathji, my ever helpful and extremely competent carpenter has started packing all the things. Before I sign out, I'm going to share the results of this photo shoot and also a final reveal of the installation with you guys. Right now though is the time to go and supervise the packaging, which is on in full swing. The installation is going to be assembled finally at the end of the client. So what I'm going to leave you guys by way of the reveal is actually a digitally composed picture, but it'll definitely give you a good sense of what it should finally look like up on the wall.
So these things are all packed, they are all set to go to the courier counter tomorrow, and I'm an extremely happy girl today for having finished this project finally. Bye for now, I will see you in the next.